There's something about an optical laser beam that's so visually satisfying that you just want to squeal in delight. I mean, come on, these guys give the term "my eyes lit up" a whole other definition. Now, I'm sure everyone agrees that we've all been blessed with an abundance of beamy characters. However, I'm all about selecting the best from the best, so today I'm giving you my top 10 optical beam users. We're kicking things off with our favourite potty-mouthed Aussie, Billy freaking Butcher. Now, I know that his powers are only temporary in the boys' latest season, but he does well enough to land an entry because he does go to town with it. Like, the dude doesn't even need an excuse to let it rip. If I'm being honest here, the writers did take a lot of liberties here regarding the impact of his powers, but they're still awesome, and it was great to see Butcher on a somewhat level playing field for once. After all, why should Supes have all the fun, right? My personal highlight was his little battle with Homelander, and even though he needed Soldier Boy to come through with an assist, it was easily one of the best scenes from the season. Also, it was nice to have Butcher remembered for something other than his iconic words of wisdom.
I mean, he is right. Black Noir is ego.
Such a team.
The fucking...
Doc, I'm sorry.
Let me just start off by saying that this could have been such an awesome concept, but unfortunately, Hollywood does love to tease us and then just leave us hanging. That still doesn't take anything away from the absolute monstrosity that is Brandon BREYER. It's easy to sum him up. He's basically Superman if he was an evil kid instead of a sweet little cutie. And of course, that means he's got the red eyes too. We see him use his lasers quite a few times in the movie, but nothing will beat the scene where he literally burns holes through his father's freaking eyes. Now, look, he might not be his real dad, and he did try to kill him first, but still, that's one nasty case of patricide. What makes his power even more terrifying is the fact that the one yielding it is just a little kid. Can you even imagine what his school would look like if he had a hissy fit? Honestly, I'm glad the movie flopped, because evil super baby would have been just way too much to handle.
Call me Black Manta.
If you ever want redemption against a guy who likes to talk to fish, you should take a page out of Black Manta's book. He might be a villain, but he makes looking bad look so freaking good. His suit design is super sick, and those eye beams coming from those bug eyes were impressive. The broader firing range helped with visuals, and the vibrating effect they added to the beam was a neat little addition. It's an interesting reimagining of the concept, and I know that it's not an actual superpower, but hey, if Iron Man is treated the way he is, then I'm sure we can allow a little leeway here. In addition to that, I mean, oh, just look at it. He had AQUAMAN piss in his pants, and that dude is a pro when it comes to water retention. Thank God the Deep didn't have to face off against Manta. I'm not sure if his octopus buddies would have been much help here. Now, it's obvious that a Kryptonian warrior like Zod would also have the same powers as Superman, but what makes him stand out is the obvious intent to kill. The villainous nature of a dude with that kind of power makes you fear him a lot more than your standard antagonist. His earlier renditions relied more on the acting than the effects because, come on, who are we kidding here?
Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
But his latest reimagining in Man of Steel added some much needed vigor to his already impressive set of skills. They made his lasers wider and somewhat lighter than Kal-El's, and I think it was a much needed differentiator. My highlight was the final battle where Superman had to kill Zod to prevent him from frying up a fresh batch of innocent humans. People might still be feeling weird about going ahead with that decision, but I for one was glad to see the evil commander breathe his last.
Trained my entire life to master my senses. Where did you train? On a farm?
It goes without saying that Ikaris was the most powerful member of the Eternals, and oh boy, he sure loved to prove it. His primary advantage is the use of his optic beams, and the dude uses it so often that you're left wondering if his other powers even have any merit at all. Whether it's against the Deviants or even against his own team, Ikaris never shies away from lighting it up, and it pains me to admit this, but it gets a little boring at times. That's the only reason why he's not in my top 5. Maybe he's still mad at the Game of Thrones guy for killing him off so abruptly. I mean, he could learn a thing or two from overpowered anime heroes. They know a thing or two about finisher moves. Anyway, there is no denying the fact that he does carry it with the sass it deserves.
I'm sorry.
I know.
technically, this is Zod again, but it is in a different form, so it still counts, okay? I mean, are most of these characters inspired from Superman anyway? Anyway, back to the entry. I don't think there's much that needs to be said about the ginormous monster that is Doomsday. His name says it all, doesn't it? His awakening in Batman vs Superman does work with a somewhat convoluted plot, and his laser beams look so freaking devastating. You know, there was a moment where I thought that there'd be enough to destroy the entire planet in one shot, but then Wonder Woman shows up and kind of spoils it a bit when her wrist shields absorb the entire attack. Well, at least we got to see that cool face-off against Superman's own laser eyes, right?
Born to destroy you. Your Doomsday.
It's hard to ignore a villain who can very easily make Big Daddy Thanos look like tiny baby Thanos. Darkseid is a villain of undeniable powers, and the very fact that a dude like Steppenwolf was his errand runner goes on to show the sheer magnitude of his dominance. He's well equipped with a massive array of powers, but his laser beams are just something else. Like, the man can make them follow any direction he wants. Now that's a skill I don't think I've seen in anyone else. It would have been sick to see him facing off against Superman or even Doomsday if that could have been possible, but I guess I'll just have to rely on fanfiction for now. Man, I sure hope the new execs at Warner Brothers give him a lot more screen time in whatever they're planning next.
I am entropy. I am death. I am Darkseid.
Ah, we've got ourselves a newcomer here. Homelander has managed to rack up the kind of fan following that would make any Instagram or TikTok influencer jealous. Once again, this dude is basically evil Superman, but he pulls it off with so much flair that he basically makes the character all his own. Of course, there's no doubting his laser eyes, as he makes good use of them in every single season. Now, there's a massive range of scenes to choose from, but the most impactful use of his optic beam would be when he killed Madeline without any hesitation. I mean, just think about it. She was his mother, lover, and life coach all at once, and he still ripped right through her. You know what? I'm glad she's dead. I don't think I could have handled their relationship anymore. God, I've been traumatized enough. We're officially onto the legends. How on earth was I going to leave Scott Summers out of this list when this is literally his only superpower? Cyclops has made a huge name for himself right from the comics and the animated series, and even his movie renditions have eventually become better, especially with his rebooted timeline version. The poor guy does have a disadvantage, as he can never show his actual eyes to anyone, but hey, I'd happily give up that luxury to wear one of those awesome laser bands. Oh yeah, let's not forget that the only color he can see is red. I mean, this dude's more colorblind than a dog. Anyway, look, jokes aside, Cyclops has always been a fan favorite, and he's one of the reasons why optic eye beams are so popular in today's culture.
You can open your eyes, Scott. There's nothing to be afraid of. Right? I think that was probably my favorite tree.
Think I was going to use any other character for my top spot? Come on, I hinted at it so many times in the previous entries too. Superman is the most popular hero on the planet. Well, apart from maybe Batman, but that dude has no superpowers, so screw him for now. Kal-El has always been the OG when it comes to red-hot laser eyes, and it's the massive success of the Superman films and comics that we've gotten to see so many copies of the character today. Now, I'm not trying to make fun of the others. I mean, I do like a lot of them, especially Homelander, but if I ever had to pick between them, it really is no contest. There's so many scenes and so many memories with Clark Kent that it's hard to pick a favorite moment. Forget that, actually. It's hard to pick a favorite Superman, never mind a moment. I mean, that's how popular this guy is. Anyway, I think I'm done with my fanboy rant now. Kal-El is officially numero uno.
But you gave hope to their world. Fly, son. It's time.
And there you go. Those are my top 10 optical beam users across films and TV. Do you want more content like this? Let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do for you. Like, share and subscribe, and if you haven't already, head over to the description below for some exclusive access. I'll see you in the next one.